You must.
Good evening and welcome to the regular town board meeting for the town of Tusten for March the 12th, 2024. Call the meeting to order and start with the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I would like to introduce Buck Warhead and his daughter Remy, who is up on the screen. We're going to do a presentation as part of a grant from the Upper Delaware Council that Jane's been working with them on the Tusten Town Hall Spattle Needs Assessment. It's all yours.
Thank you very much. Does this work or I just talk?
Is it on? It doesn't have
Is it
that.
on? Or- Hello?
I get it.
All right. Hello?
There you go.
Okay. Nice to see everybody. Folks for joining tonight. We've been working with the town since late last summer on this effort, which was basically to do a needs assessment for the town's function within this particular building, to try to begin to understand how this, how the town can look at its future here in this building effectively. So we looked at it as we would a typical architectural project. Our initial step was we did a set of existing condition plans, which you'll see in that little packet that you have. In an architectural process, the next step is referred to as programming, which is identifying goals, needs, facts, and concepts regarding whatever project you're doing, whether it's a house or a town hall or a city, goals, needs, facts, and concepts about the particular project. And once we had established that program, we then took a very, what's referred to as the schematic design step. Like, how does that program fit, like, within this particular structure? How do the various departments relate to one another? That's referred to as, the early stages of that are referred to as schematic design. That work that would follow is developing a design, doing additional schematic design, developing the design, and then eventually getting construction documents and such. So that's the very beginning. What we did was the very beginning of an architectural process on behalf of the town. We've lost.
Yeah.
It's just yours because it's still good on the regular.
There it is. So the sheet that is on the screen now, that's referred to as a survey analysis. So we sent out a document to the staff that worked within the town hall. We got responses back to that survey document. We had some direct conversations with people when we were measuring around the building, and we also had a phone call follow-up if we had questions with people who were working here about what their, again, the goals, needs, facts, and concepts about how they work. So that was the survey analysis result that you see on that sheet. Rem will move to 2. Okay, so sheet 2. This one is our interpretation of that information that we gathered and communicating it as an architectural program. And what it does is it shows the relationships and adjacencies between different departments. You can see on the left side, there's a kind of a public sphere of the town hall that is the court is very oriented to the public, the department code enforcement offices as well. planning and zoning and the town clerk, they're all kind of in that public zone. Supervisor as well. But there's also kind of a private section for the town hall, which is that, the kind of circle on the left there. Which includes water and sewer and town assessor, though the assessor has public moments, obviously, at different times of the year. So that was our interpretation of the survey results and trying to convert it to a program. Sheet 3. Okay, so this is we refer to as a spatial needs assessment, this sheet. And here we identified all of the desk spaces that were required for each particular use. The staff that was there, number of staff, storage requirements, the square footage of the desk space required, storage space required in square feet, any miscellaneous requirements, which might be review tables or record rooms, assigning square foot to that. And then we put what is referred to as a circulation factor, like you need within a space, you have a desk that is there for someone to work, but when people are walking between the desks, like you need to account for that movement through the desk and through the whole office itself. And that circulation factor can vary quite a bit, but we used a factor of 40% for that circulation factor that we applied to all the square footage to make sure that we had room. Otherwise we design a space that looks like it is right now, if you know what I mean. It's like everything very snug. When you're up in the town hall, it does not have sufficient circulation space. It's very obviously a media thing. And it's for people working day to day, but there are actually physical requirements for ADA access. There's supposed to have turnaround space for wheelchairs and in front of bathrooms that are for ADA. So there are very real requirements that this as a public building within the town should be meeting. So we were trying to account for that, within this table that's calculating what we use. And we use that, like say for instance, if someone wants to put their office in they're looking for space for a totally new office or function or town hall or school, you develop this kind of, there's no design at all. You just have, we need to put so many people, so many uses into the building. They need to be so big and then they have so much circulation. And that gives you a number that, like, how big a space should we be looking for? Like to move, to build a school or to build a town hall or to build an office. So it's a very common and effective technique that allowed us to understand. I mean, what if you look at the kind of the column on the lower right, what you see is total required GSF is gross square feet. That's 5,600 square feet by that calculation. This premises right now is 4,180. Okay, there's 1,500 based on that calculation. Now the 40%, like maybe it's not like absolute, but it's like getting you in the right neighborhood for what you should be thinking about in terms of the space that you would require. So below that, there's it says conclusion. Think of it like an executive summary. I wanted to explain what that tells us with where we're and what we did in the subsequent pages so that you'll understand where, and I'm going to read this out loud. This spatial needs assessment asserts that the existing town hall building of 210 Bridge Street cannot reasonably serve the immediate needs of the town of Tusten town hall constituents on a square footage basis, assuming that all town hall department programs are to be served by this new building. Okay, so that's referencing at 5,600 versus 4,100 point. Like that's where it is now. So programming piece, we had came up via our conversation specifically with the town board, that there was a recognition or an understanding that the commercial kitchen itself is too big. Like that's not, that kitchen had a use for something of that size at some point. But at this point in time, there's a feeling within the town that that's not that kitchen doesn't need to be there at that size. We need a kitchen, but it can be smaller. So we looked at making the plans that we make that kitchen area smaller. And we also, there was a decision that we don't have to have meetings, like to be able to accommodate the largest public meeting here necessarily. Like that's if, given the way things are being pushed, that having a decision, again, was within the programming, and I should say programs are dynamic. Like we ask for program goals, needs, facts, concepts. We do schematic plans, we show them to clients. Then they go, oh, I see that, what that is. I think our program may be a little different than we told you. Like the program is iterative. It changes as one's looking at plans and thinking about it and getting more input. So don't treat anything, certainly in this document, as an absolute statement. You know, it's really like so that so what we determined was basically, I don't remember what the line is, but something like this. Like there's space from here back that we could use for other program that's now upstairs. Conceivably, can be moved downstairs. So that the plans that you'll see move that. This becomes serious sports space, actually, as I recall. And the code enforcement office is down behind me in the proposed plans, because those are public access plans. They have direct access, and so we created a couple of extra doors on the farm to make that happen in the proposal. So that reduced the differential between that 5,800 and the 4,100. In other words, we put program into that space. And then the third, that was a long, I haven't finished reading this one. That was a long explanation about what that meant there. Okay. So then, so that was on page 5. We're attempting to make that best use of what's available. That's what's going to show up on page 5. On page 6, the proposed expansion presented on page 6 explores an addition to the street side of the building, which would better serve the project program, providing for increased accessibility, more robust common areas, and provision to moderate apartment growth. Note that both of these options accommodate a minimum of 70 people for town hall meetings and provide an on-site office for water and sewer department, which currently works off-site in hazardous conditions. But neither of these options adequately address the equipment storage and workshop needs of the water and sewer department, which require outbuildings that may or may not be possible to accommodate on the current property. Remy, did I miss anything there?
No, you're spot on.
Well, Remy wrote most of this, so. He provided it.
I don't think she's gonna argue with you.
She'd be arguing with herself. Okay, so this will come up in more detail in the plans, but I wanted to just lay that out so you'll know what's coming. So in other words, there's the building, there's the capacity to put sufficient space here for making those kinds of moves that I just outlined there. So we move to this on page 4, the existing layout. These are as I said, field measured qualifier. We treated, and this is a program, we treated the Tusten Theater as to remain. It wasn't a decision that was available space that could be expanded to. The theater was treated as a use that was going to remain. We do have in the scheme to get the elevator in, we're going to probably need about 40 square feet of the theater space in the back to make locate an elevator, which would run down to this floor, kind of in here, but go up through the building to make that accessible. So on the existing plan inadequacies, these this narrative section in the middle, oversized commercial kitchen, considered more efficient use of that space, which we talked about with conversion to a non-commercial kitchenette. Court and town clerk record rooms are undersized and at severe risk of water damage. They are in the back now of the building and at subject to water risk. Town hall meeting area can be reduced to accommodate 70 people. And the meetings in excess of that can be in either the union or could be in the theater space if necessary as well for larger meetings. We need a private secure entrance for the court officials at the ground floor, which we don't presently have. We have inadequate privacy, sound separation, storage at first and second floor office spaces. ADA bathroom should be provided first and second floors. Elevator access not provided between floors. So these were kind of the general governing issues that we saw with the existing condition. Moving to the proposed renovation. This shows a proposed layout. Again, they are schematic, and schematic means that when I was younger, we would do the plans on trace paper, like freehand to scale sketches, and it would be very rough looking, and no one would think they were real plans. They're not real plans. They're schematic, so don't just try to keep it in your head that it's an early planning document, but they just, this is the way schematic plans are presented with a computer. So this has a town hall. This seats 80 as an additional bathroom at the ground floor to meet number of fixtures required for 70-person occupancy group A assembly, plus a business group occupancy that we have adjacent, which is the code enforcement officer in the court, also needs an additional bath. Court entrance, I think we're meeting the goals that are required very specifically for the court here with this. And we've got, as I said, the building department, zoning, planning, a very good kind of space for them in the back where the kitchen, most of the kitchen was before. We've modified the ramp would need to be modified to make this happen. We've got 3 separate entrances. One is public entrance to the building department, which is at the top. The second is a private court entrance, and the third is public entrance coming into the meeting space. We still, at this level, don't have an ADA bathroom provided at first and second floor. Elevators not provided. There's little to no room for future growth at this point. We don't have the water and sewer lockers and large tool equipment storage provided. And the town clerk records room is still vulnerable to water damage. So we've reduced some of those records for the court have been moved into better locations in the plan. And that brings us to our last plan here, which is the proposed showing. You'll see it's about just shy of 13-foot extension in the street side of the property. It's kind of tied into where the Tusten's got that entry space. It's kind of lining up more or less with that. A 2-story structure that provides approximately 1,000 gross square feet, as I mentioned earlier, on 500 on each floor. We get 88 bathrooms at each floor. We have elevator access requiring that 40 square feet or so from the Tusten Theater. storage closets, private meeting areas, shared conference tables, shared break room. Still doesn't address water and sewer. Doesn't have they need an outbuilding of about 20 by 40 feet. Town clerk records still vulnerable to water. And the future expansion, this is kind of a tough ticket to know. Like, we have some desks that came up in the survey that are provided for various departments. They said, we think we're going to need another person. We got those in. But the larger question of what, like 10 or 15 years from now, like what might this town need, like kind of hard to say what might be shrinking, what might be growing, that question is, how much, with the lot, what can we do behind this building, or how much space can we really consider adding? We've got the theater is, there's a big chunk of this is operational on 2 floors right in that structure that was original to the building. Then we're kind of dislocating a chunk of it, which has logical public access, but it's kind of, you go outside, or if you take an elevator down at this point, come down and connect to it. But, how much more might there need to be expansion for here? What other properties does the town have that might be available? What uses might be considered to be off-site effectively, like the water and sewer is off-site now? Obviously we have a space for their office in our plan now on the second floor. If they remained off-site, then that could be future growth on the second floor for possible office or department that showed up. So that's one of the, it's just it's a program question, really, to try to ponder over, like how much that idea of future growth, and does this end up being constrictive? Like, you'd want to know what you would do before investing, obviously, into a major investment into this property. Now, thinking about possible questions that could come up, I do not know how much this would cost. It's too early to know that. I think that there would need to be some more work done on a plan level, and probably engaging a cost estimating firm that it's kind of doing this with some regularity. And we could work with them, to get that, to kind of get the idea of a number. Renovation costs, as most people know, I mean, sometimes you can have a renovation which is some percentage less than what it would cost to build something new, but you can have a renovation that is absolutely equal to the cost of building something new, and you can have renovations that cost more in some circumstances building something new based on the circumstances that you're reporting. So one would have to look at this thinking about what which parts of this would be in one of those categories effectively from a pricing standpoint. And then there's the kind of, you're an occupied building now, so people are moving, people are shifting, people are vacating. That's a cost effectively that someone would want to account for in terms of thinking through this project as well. Remy, is anything before opening this up for questions?
I will just add that we didn't consider the available attic space in this exercise. And so there's a world in which that could be converted to more usable storage in this calculation also.
Good point. There's a steep stair that goes up there right now. It's a little scary. Elevator will take care. Pretty cool. All right.
Questions from the board?
I have a question. Did you account for the tables, and storage of these tables and chairs? If we don't, like behind the black, on page 6, I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm looking. I see this. There's a closet there.
There's-
Rem?
Yeah, we have two separate closet areas allocated. One here where my cursor is near between the public entrance and the private court entrance. And then we also have a fairly large AV/equipment closet. So our hope was that those tables could be adequately stored between those two.
All right.
And I think one of the things, I didn't hear it come up in this, I think because we all just know and assume it, but during renovations, things have to be brought into current code, correct?
Oh, yes, once we start touching it, the term grandfathering is not a good, we can't be grandfathering things.
So how is the electrical system, are the electrical systems and things like that?
I think that would be further study as far as
Yeah.
the demo, but
What age are they?
to give a comparison, we just did the renovations due to the roof or the ceiling collapse. That wiring had to be replaced.
Hmm.
I believe that room was $18,000 in electricity.
Yeah, it's a good question. Like I seem to recall that there was an existing conditions report done on the building a few years ago.
Yeah.
Did it get into all the systems?
It did not, that I read, I don't recall that it got into the electrical systems.
I don't think so.
But I think it is more than safe to say that it's not within code.
Right, it's hard to leave partial systems. Most times you're renovating a space, to leave a few circuits running around there, or it's better just to pull it off. The electricians want to start fresh. They don't want to be working around some odd wire.
And what about just the structural integrity of the building? Do you have any sense of how well it would take an addition with?
Well, the addition would all be proud of the building.
Oh,
So we wouldn't be building up on it, but I think that it definitely would be wise to do an existing condition report or update that to get, just making sure that structurally the brick and the roof and just check it out because, we're going to be, and do probes if necessary, check out the system to make sure that there isn't you tear it off and all of a sudden there's a big unknown. Like that's obviously the worst in the world of change orders than in a project, but you'd want to know before investing in the building. I mean, we love investing in existing buildings. It's a lot to, there's a point where it just monetarily doesn't make sense to do it in the same way, but there's so much the material that's invested in the construction already. If one can take advantage of that and use it, it's great. I mean, it seems like it should be cheaper. You got a roof, you got this, that, but it obviously can run away from you in certain ways and not be cheaper to do it. But we enjoy it, and from an embodied carbon standpoint, it's way better to use the renovated and existing building.
Elevators are expensive and they're expensive to maintain, but it's my understanding that if you were to pursue grants for a project like this, that ADA, it would have to be ADA compliant and that would require it.
We definitely need an elevator here for doing what we're doing here. I know that there's a thing going up this stair,
Right.
which that's an acceptable option, but I think I don't know. I think I would go for the elevator. These limited access ones they're not crazy expensive, I'm gonna say. Got to build a shaft for it. But yeah.
But my understanding is that ADA compliance almost, the grants are almost contingent on ADA compliance. Correct?
Well, the code, I don't think we could you can't do a massive renovation in a space without actually bringing up the ADA. If you change your use in the space, you're supposed to make it ADA acceptable. Here, we're not changing the use, but if you're doing a significant amount of renovation, which this would be, I think you're going to be in the code world. I mean, we could check with our code
What's the deal question?
At the gym question,
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, over 50% of the building value, or
Oh, yes.
there's something
Yes,
like that.
renovation part, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everything has
Figure
to be
new.
pulled in.
Correct.
Any other questions from the board? We can open up to the public. I'm sure they've got a couple questions to do to them. 5 minutes, nothing big as long as you don't mind answering a question or two from them.
No, for sure.
An easy one. I assume when you were looking at this ground level, it seems like one of the renovations, like cut it all off to have the court space or something.
Yeah.
But we vote down here, so there's still enough room for voting.
You know, you made an assumption I did not know. We did not think about that.
Well,
So,
But that would also be the meeting hall, Bob.
yeah,
They would vote here in the meeting hall. So the meeting hall has multi-purpose.
right,
it would be with no, I guess, no tables, and presumably it would be big enough for the voting.
Yes.
Good point. Yes,
Yes, I heard you say that you were having to build additional bathrooms,
yes.
ADA compliant bathrooms. And someone has suggested, and I think it fits dovetails very nicely in what you're doing here. We have needed a public bathroom, public accessible bathroom forever. And if you're going to be tearing up back here and looking to put bathrooms in, is there any way that you could reconfigure and figure out how much it would cost to put a public ADA accessible bathroom off the back of the building here? That would be available to anybody.
Mhm.
You know, it's already got the ramps going down and the drive up ability with the parking. I think that would be a really good thing to incorporate into these plans.
Mhm. So that, it's possible, that's exactly in the category of the program getting adjusted, you know, that's a program, a specific program amendment. So that, I'll take a note, and it's just something that could be, the program ultimately is approved by the town board, but that's gonna be related to public input, and so that's a good. Yeah.
So Buck, if I'm reading this correctly, the needs are 5,638 square feet.
Yes,
Okay, and we have 4,180. And that 5,600 does not, that is absolute needs right now without any expansion.
without expansion, other than there are some, I'm gonna say 3 or 4 workstations that may be extra at the moment.
And it doesn't include the sewer and water department.
It's got the water and sewer in the building. Okay. It doesn't have their storage.
And that 1,600, how many, the public meeting spaces,
It's
70?
70.
Yeah. Okay,
So currently, water and sewer have storage combined with their office space, right?
Yes.
So would their store needs be greater if we took the office out of the storage from office space?
I think I haven't been to their office, but I think they're sitting in like a,
I have. It's terrible.
they're inside.
It's inhuman.
it's, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've given us how many desks and this, that they need in files, so we've calculated for that without measuring their current use.
I guess what I'm asking is, yeah, if we took the office space out of the current configuration and brought it up here,
Mhm.
would there then be enough storage space? That's what I'm asking. I don't know if you have the information.
Well, I think they want to have like truck and utility vehicles and big scale pools and roughly 20 by 40, like about an 800 square foot outbuilding or storage building, which,
Whole barn type thing.
you know, which I'm not, yeah, I don't know if that was the term, but you know, whether it could fit back behind here or not, you know, how that back access is used with the library and that's a whole, but that could be off-site. It's obviously off-site now. So it seems like it's not like a deal breaker, you know, in terms of what.
But it sounds like the storage needs are greater than would exist currently.
Than what they have even now.
Yeah.
Yes, they were thinking, they were very responsive, good ways. I mean, they were thinking future.
Remy, have anything she wants to add?
No, folks. No, folks, this is great.
Impressive as always, but expensive as always.
Thank you, Buck. I think the next thing will probably be the building committee getting back in touch with you and figuring out our next steps.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, that would be great. Appreciate it. Thanks to everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks all.
Thank you, Remy. One point four is a payment of bills, due to the electricity yesterday and the issues that we had with that. We'll be tabling the bills. We'll have under new business when we can recess to and a time that the board can go over the bills, possibly Thursday morning. And take care of them. Into number 2, division reports.
Greg, but I'm gonna do it for Greg.
The reports will be online, for those that are not read out loud. 2.2 in the Narrowsburg Water and Sewer District. As everyone knows, yesterday with the power outages, the generator at the water plant ended up with a low voltage issue. Jim Crowley met with an electrician today. They troubleshot it. They do have some parts that are on order for that. It did require the men to manually pump the effluent from one tank to the other because of the downed generator. NYSEG had said to Craig that they would be out of service until probably 11 o'clock this evening, which we know now everything has been back together. We were able to call NYSEG. They moved them up, and I believe that the flats got the power back on about 9 o'clock last night. So for that, we would like to thank NYSEG for assisting in the sewer department. And also to read through the Narrowsburg Water and Sewer District report, you'll notice one that said they had a water leak dog detective, a new company in the area that specializes in finding water leaks with a dog. They came out and checked a few of the plastic lines and they found 3 possible areas that need further investigation. Kind of a good proactive response by the department because leak detection is not available on the PVC plastic pipes. So when we see raw water come out, they actually use a device that works on the lead copper pipes, but does not work on the plastic pipes. So the reports are worth going through and actually reading. The Upper Delaware Council, that is also there. The UDC did make a recommendation of substantial conformance for the pavilion on the flats, and that will be sent to the National Park Service for a final determination. 2.6, the Tusten Energy Committee. We continue to work with NYPA regarding the outages and the faulty equipment. As one will see, they are still out. We are also waiting from NYSEG, from their engineering, a bill for 93 Main Street parking lot. Once we receive the bill for that and pay it, they will then hook up the lights. That is still not done. But I'm guessing that the weather has something to do with some of these delays. Water and Sewer Committee.
Yeah, I'll just do the headlines. One of the biggest headline is that despite Delaware Engineering's efforts and assurances, the water tower project is now with the Albany Department of Transportation. We thought it was with the Department of Health. So it's going to take yet another bureaucratic step. So it's not as far along as we thought. We had discussed maybe if we're seeing it just sitting next month, maybe a little call to Gunther or something, you know. One thing that a couple of things that got left off of this, I probably wrote too long, but one is that Dave really expressed some sort of a heads up to us about forever chemicals. The EPA changed the formula and the definition of forever chemicals. And when our sewer plant licensing comes up in 2026, we're going to have to measure them every quarter to the tune of about $1,500. So it's going to be a $6,000 hit. And he expressed just general concern about how that is sort of expanding in the EPA target. That it could be a big headache going forward. He's also going to be attending a rural water training with Anthony on April 1st. So we need to post that we'll be meeting on the 8th instead of the 1st. And Jane had expressed some concern that our grant is not going to cover the 7 items on Delaware Engineering sort of hit list. We're not yet even into the first, which is the water tower, a main one, and that maybe we should start setting aside the money and prioritizing some of those things that we can do on our own, because the grant isn't going to cover them all. So those are the conversations. But
Any questions from the board for water and sewer? 2.9, the building committee. We've got nothing right now. We'll be working with the report that Buck gave this evening. 2.10 grants.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to remind everybody that the report that Buck gave was as a result of a technical assistance grant that we received from Sullivan 180. So that was, I think it was 100% of the technical assistance, wasn't it? I think so. We're, the bridge, of course, the culvert is done. We're winding down for payments, right? We still have some outstanding monies that we have to receive back, but everything has been paid out.
We got one.
One we just received for the engineering firm, but should be it.
It's pretty much done. That's great. And as Kevin said, the water is in Albany. A big issue grants right now is National Fish and Wildlife grant that we have. We thought we were going to utilize a firm, MJ Engineering, which I met with them, they came, blah, blah, blah. The bottom line is we've never received a contract and they're not returning our calls. So we've decided we're not going to work with them because they're just not workable. So we have to then put out another RFP and start from scratch. I was concerned because there is a time limit on the grant. So I did call National Fish and Wildlife and say, I'm not looking for an extension right now, but I just want you to know what's going on. And she said, thanks for the heads up. I'll put it in the records. And if you need an extension, it's likely that they would give us one. So that's where we are right now. I'm not happy about that at all. But we have to do it. And I don't think that and the UDC wanted a midterm report, and we did supply that.
Any questions, Jane? Kelly, Tusten Youth.
Hey, within the last month, we have submitted for 6 applications for programs for smaller grants within the Tusten Youth. The first one is called Tusten Recreation. That's our overall umbrella, which is focusing on trips, big trips, small trips. Number two is what we call Unplugged. That will be a program where it's to get the kids unplugged, just what it says, get them outside, get them down on the playground, organized play. Number three would be Summer Art and our Garden Youth Club. This will be new and it stems off the success we've had with our every Wednesday and Monday club here after school. And we see the need to continue in summer, so we're hoping to get additional funds because that was not put into the budget. And the garden aspect of that would also be utilizing the Heritage Garden out back. Winter Fun, which would have, if we get the funds for that, would help compensate for some of the skiing trips we did, which was very successful, and put us into December of this coming year. We could hopefully get some more skiing, winter hikes, just outside winter play, ice skating, things like that. Number five would be museum history and cultural experiences. We're hoping to work with Fort Delaware again. I've already been in touch with the Conways. We have a project we're hoping to do. Jane's going to help us with. Gets the kids. We created a program at the fort called Christian Kids, and it gets our kids into the fort doing hands-on 18th century skills, and we're hoping to expand on that into the logging and rafting history. And then the last one we're hoping to get funds for is the holiday celebrations, which you're familiar with all of those. The three big ones would be in the past that we've done Halloween, 4th of July, and Christmas. But that's not to say can't include Easter, Thanksgiving. So hopefully we get more funds for that. Hopefully we hear back. We don't know yet. We don't have a date. It has to go to the legislature and the county. Hopefully sometime the end of March is our hope. Upcoming events, March 24th, if you'll put on your calendars, we have our Tusten Youth Easter egg hunt with the Easter Bunny. That'll be down on the park. It's from 1 to 3. The egg hunt will start precisely at 1:30. So if you plan on coming with your kids or your grandkids, bring your cameras and please bring a basket or a bag to put your eggs in. As I mentioned, we've had a lot of success with our weekly clubs, working with the Tusten Social and the library. Every Monday we run them and every Wednesday, and that will go to the end of June. A big trip that we're planning at the request of the residents of the community is to go back to Kalahari. We just received word we are going to be doing that in November, and we'll put an official blast out via email and Facebook. And also I told Greta from the Tusten Social and Jill Padua, who have been working with the recycling program for the Trek benches. We have one now right outside of the town hall door, in addition to several around the community. And within the last month, we've collected 80 pounds. And Greta and Jill have been going through that. But at Jill's request, she couldn't be here tonight. Over on this table, we set up some plastics that they had to weed out that the program does not accept. So if you have a minute and want to check them out, anything that's kind of crunchy is your best bet. They're not going to take it, or anything with paper on it. So like an Amazon package, just cut your label off. That's soft enough, they'll take. But you see it's dirty, it's really yucky, and these volunteers are going through it hand by hand. So if we can try and cut down on that, that would be amazing. And that's all I have. Do you guys have any questions? I have a quiet one. All right, thank you.
Greg is on Zoom, I believe.
Yes, I am. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Greg.
Hey.
Still there.
It's just making your report come up, Greg.
Yep, I can see it and I've got it in front of me. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. We had the first meeting of the new version of the Park Committee, which we are suggesting would be called Parks and Public Spaces Committee. And we met a week ago yesterday at 5 p.m. As Kevin said, I'll just do the headlines as everything else is embedded. We reviewed the status of the pavilion, which was having bids requested to confirm that we are talking about the 720 square foot version of the design. that would be located near the swing area if indeed the pavilion were to move forward. We looked at the first draft of maintenance and booking policies, and as we were all seeing that for the first time, we are giving the committee 1 month to review and come back with feedback. So a reminder to everyone on the committee that that needs to be taken care of. We reviewed the mowing plan status and where we are with bids. We also discussed the dedication of the basketball area, and Jane agreed that she would work with the Historical Society to get more background information. We discussed the basketball court rules of conduct, and we were going to come up with a first draft of that, which is to be written by me. We are also doing a multi-generational park signage inventory and recommendations for new signs. I have worked on that and already have it for the committee. We took public comment, all of which is embedded in the notes, as well as board comments. And we set the next meeting for Monday, April 1st at 5 p.m.
Thank you, Greg. Any questions from the board? No. Before we move into old business, I will open the public comment up for 10 minutes. I will start here on the floor and then move to Zoom. All right, you can go up and use that if you would, please.
Okay. My name is Star Hesse, and I have a few questions I'd like to put to the board this evening. I just want to revisit very quickly the anomaly of the two different meeting minutes for a meeting that hadn't taken place. That was explained as a typo, but I don't think that explains how copies of the minutes purportedly for the second meeting could have been completed and handed out by town employees before that second meeting had taken place. So that's still a question in my mind. Moving on, regarding the status of the town streetlights, I heard what Ben was saying about the delay possibly being due to some of the electrical issues that we've been experiencing. I was able to get, and I guess you'd call it read, through the rather Byzantine customer project commitment maintenance contract. And I have a few questions about that. Regarding the replacement of the two decorative lights on Main Street and the Cobra headlights at the yard sales store and Erie Avenue and Grove Street, all four of these lights have been inoperative since they were installed. And the town should not have to pay for their replacement. As I read under the contract agreement, that might be something we would have to pay for. So I'd just like that to be kept in everybody's mind. The high sodium light by the firehouse, that's NYSEG owned, is that included in this CPC maintenance contract? And if not, who is responsible for the repair and or replacement of that? That's also a light that the town continues to pay for that doesn't work. In this same CPC NIPA PA service maintenance contract, it states that the town shall designate a single primary contact person to work with NIPA. And from when I read in that contract, that primary person really is the ramrod of whatever happens or doesn't happen with the lights installation, operation, and repair. So who is the person that is assigned to that primary contact status to speak with?
Right now it's two. It's Don, who's a highway superintendent, and myself.
Well, they're generous. They didn't cut it down to just one person to hawk.
There will be one person after we get everything worked out.
Okay. It says that the CPC covered lights shall repair the street lights within 10 business days of notification for routine maintenance and within 30 days for non-routine maintenance. All of the problems on the existing lights have been reported more than 30 days prior, which is a requirement apparently for this kind of 10 and 30 day limit to kick in. And I was just wondering, the town is continuing to pay for these lights, haven't been repaired. I don't think the town should be paying for inoperative equipment. Does this CPC contract say that we do have to pay for it, whether they fix it or not, in a timely fashion?
It's a very hard way to answer it, Star, but you already know the answer to this because it was given to you by Chuck Herman. We pay a flat rate for
Right.
all of our lights.
Right.
So we pay for them, period, whether they're working or not working, I guess would be the simplest answer for you.
Okay, well, again, I'll have to lodge my complaint about that because I think it's not right that the town's paying.
Right,
for
and that
things that
has
don't-
been explained to you by Chuck Herman.
Chuck
in a-
is not the end all and be all.
No, but I think he explained it very well, and normally I would have it here in front of me because you ask the same questions every month. But
Because they
we
aren't taken
explain
care
it
of
to
every
you,
month.
we can explain it to you, I just can't make you understand it. That's up to you to understand how it is, that's all I can tell you.
Anomalies are often hard to understand.
There's no anomalies, they don't work.
Okay. As to the repeated requests for the need of a public toilet on Main Street, I was very glad to hear that Mr. Moorhead was open to considering putting that public toilet access outside behind the building. I was a little concerned when I heard him say that the final decision on that would be with the board, because the board has not exactly been leaping with joy to get this thing done, even though many people have asked that it be done. I was very happy to see a suggestion for that exact thing, that while the building is going through renovations and reorganizing, that if this toilet could be included in that part of the renovations and the reorganizing, I think that would be a very big plus for everybody. Okay, and then the last thing here is I've hoped that these issues that have been brought up month after month will start getting resolved. I mean, the business of the lights not going up because of the electric just went out yesterday. So, I mean, this has been dragging on.
The lights on Main
months.
Street, Star, just to kind of clarify for you, we waited probably 2 years for the pendant lights to come in.
Mhm.
Obviously, 2 of them are not working and need to replace. I would not expect them to be done in the next 30 or 60 days because it took us 2 years to get them. It was a special thing that they wanted. It took us 2 years to get them. I don't think, because we've been told that they need to be replaced, I don't think I would hold my breath and say they're going to be replaced real soon. The Cobra heads that you're talking about, 2 of them, one on 97 and one by the yard sale, they were signed off Energy Committee saying everything was done. It is a minimum 12-week wait in order to get new Cobra heads in, to change them to the LEDs. So at least 2 of those are going to take more time to do it. The others that I just looked at to see which were out, yes, I will find out more information when they're going to come and try to fix them, but obviously we have a glitch in the system. I can't wave a wand and make them work. But I think we've answered and re-answered and triple answered your question. You just don't like the answer. And I'm
Well,
sorry about
I
that.
don't like the situation, and I agree with you. I don't like the answer, but that's fine.
Maybe we should have stayed with the old nice egg lights.
Oh, yeah, that was all.
Okay, well then let's compare apples to apples. If it's a better system,
It
it's just
wasn't a better
new.
system then.
If this is a better system, then let's let the system work the bugs out of it.
That's the problem. The system isn't working. Okay,
I didn't pick
Cobra
it.
headlights, did you say that they were LEDs, right?
No, there's Cobra heads that are not LEDs that were not changed over. One of them is the one by the yard sale that you're asking about.
Okay, well, I spoke with the chair of the, former chair of the Energy Committee, and she sent me a schematic of the lights that had been submitted to be LED transferred.
Mhm.
And that light and the one on Grove Street were both supposed to be included in that package. They showed up on, I'm not sure how they got missed, but they were submitted for, and they were.
I know they were, and they're set to be replaced. That is one of the things that we've done.
Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment from the floor, Mike?
Greetings, fans. I just wanted to follow up on some of Greg's comments there. Now that we have a park and a public space committee, the list of issues that they're going to tackle are long. They're as long as your arm. But it's good to have it all one coherent space now where you can kind of see what's possible, what might be done, and what needs to be done more immediately. So I think the first meeting was a good start. I think we can chalk that up as a positive. It's also, I think, important now that we have a committee, which can be a forum now where we can have logical, reasonable, financially responsible discussion about any public space issue. Taxpayers have a right to know the true cost, short-term and long-term, of anything that is being considered. I think Greg is a good choice as chairman. I think he'll be a fair arbiter in the process when there'll be disputes, and there will be disputes. Not everybody's going to agree on everything. But let's hope that we can now make decisions based on the facts and solely on the facts. And as always, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else from the floor before I move to Zoom? Anyone on Zoom that you got? Okay, we'll come back to public comment later. Moving into old business, the Park Pavilion. Greg had mentioned that the pavilion was out to bid with a time to come back of May. That bid has been pulled back. The building department took a look at it and had some questions. I met with the building department today. They do have a couple of things that they want taken care of before it moves forward. They had some minor design, structural things that they wanted to see done differently. A couple of those were cost savings in the number of beams that they had put in there and the number of posts that they had in there. They believe that they could go with less posts, make it more attractive, put a structural beam in it, and that would save money in the long run. The other was the tongue and groove underneath the roof. They had an issue with that, so we do have the architect taking a look at it. He told me within a week he will have it and we can get it back out. He informed me we do need to have a floodplain certificate. So I need to contact the surveyor for that. And other than that,
What's a floodplain certificate?
anything that's built in the floodplain needs a certificate of elevation to show the approval of it. That's also for insurance. You'll see it mostly with people that build new houses and such. And then
Oh, yeah,
down in there.
having to build it up.
Build it up. This particular design building, I believe they said was a 2-foot interference because it's a post building. There's not a big space that the water would go through. So they take the number of beams and they get the circumference of the number of beams that's in there. So by being able to reduce them down, I believe he came in with a 2 square foot amount that it would impede. If you're within the floodplain, you do not want to impede water that goes through the plain in the event of a 100 or a 500 year. That's what the certificate is.
So when will the first go out, you think?
Not to put a bunch of pressure on Carl, but they will go out before the next meeting.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're still looking at May or June for a return of the bids.
For return, okay.
5 point, actually, do we have any other old business that I've missed that anybody knows?
Harrisburg Beautification Group,
Okay,
what? They made a request.
yes, I've got that under new business for the litter pluck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm moving to 5.1, the new business, and Cass is speaking of litter pluck opportunities. April 1 through October 31st. Litter pluck from Sullivan County roads and public trails are accepted free at the county operated transfer stations with coupon tickets, which are available at the town clerk's office. There is information that will be posted on the website for that. Litter pluck, this is the one Cass is speaking about, April 20th with the Narrowsburg Beautification Group. This is our local area, the one-day drop-off that is here in the parking lot as it was before. Sponsored by the Upper Delaware Council. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And Don will leave a truck in the parking lot for it. So I would make a motion to authorize the Narrowsburg Beautification Group to host litter pluck on Saturday, April 20th, 2024, sponsored by the Upper Delaware Council from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the town of Tusten agrees to supply a truck for the litter.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5.2, the spring cleanup, we've been allocated 25 tons. The spring cleanup needs to be set between April 15th and May 15th, and the fall cleanup between September 15th and October 15th. First, I will need a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the municipal cleanup agreement with the Sullivan County Department of Solid Waste Recycling for the spring and fall cleanup on behalf of the Tusten Town Board.
I'll make that motion.
And a second? Any discussion on it? All in favor? Aye, opposed. Set our spring cleanup day for the 20th from 9 to 2, same time as the litter pluck.
So moved.
I will second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Highway. Don is looking to purchase a Kubota excavator. The amount is $116,000. He would purchase it from Marshall Machinery as Kubota is on the state bid. When I spoke to Don about this, he did price out used ones. Because of the state bid, the used ones were as much as the new ones. So
I'll make a motion that they get one.
I will second the motion. Further discussion? This is different than the
I know,
sewer one.
but we have a trailer and we have a truck that will,
For this, yes, this is all the highway. They've got all the equipment they would need to move it and transport it themselves.
And they've got drivers with the appropriate
Proper
license. Yeah, okay. That became the issue with one.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, opposed. Don is requesting a motion to advertise and request bids for the highway sand and stone. Now, these bids would be, when did he want them due back? Did he tell you?
They're usually back in April, next meeting, next regular meeting.
Wants them that quick? Okay, a motion to advertise, and request bids for the highway sand and stone to be opened at the next regular meeting of the town of Tusten Town Board.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. And speaking with Don, he has done, well, obviously with the way the weather's been, so, he's gonna do well with the budget this year for as long as we can leave, March with no 3-foot snowstorms on Easter.
Yeah, March is always a bad month.
We've got a couple things, under the to be determined. Recess for the bills. Bruce, you're probably not available on Thursday morning, are you? Would you have a problem if the board was?
No.
Okay. Cass, are you available Thursday morning?
not usually,
How early can you be there Thursday or not at all Thursday?
well, I could be, yeah, I guess it would just take Oh, it'll take a while.
It won't take long, just to, go do the regular audit of the bills, and then it'll just be a motion to pass and pay the bills.
I have a 10 o'clock. Usually,
Okay,
so I could do an 8:30.
that's fine. You want to do it later than 10, after 10, or is it 10 gonna take too
Oh,
long?
after 10 would be ideal.
What, how far after 10?
Just 11 to 15.
11:15 is all right by me, so is that good?
Fine with me.
I like that better than 8:30.
But do we, okay, we'll have a core, I mean, Greg, gonna be here?
I don't know if Greg will be back.
I'm gonna have Kevin, Bruce, and Cassie.
You know, what's gonna happen, that won't be.
It'll be three of us.
I meant Kevin, Ben, and Cassie.
Yeah.
I knew I meant.
Is Greg still on?
Yeah. Trying to talk.
I will not be back. My sister will still be recovering from surgery, so I'll be in Wisconsin until at least Sunday.
Okay,
Okay, so we can do them at 11.
11:15?
Yeah,
but when do you want us to do the bills? Kelly?
Well, we'll be back.
Well, we can do that the day before, maybe?
Yeah, we can do it Wednesday.
Right, so 11:15, we're gonna meet and say.
Yeah.
Okay,
So when will we do the bill?
Wednesday evening, Wednesday late afternoon? Is that-
If it works for you to do it before the meeting, Karen, we can always work that out, but we can figure that out. later.
Okay, we'll work it out.
Okay. So that will be a recess at the end of this one. A motion to move the Water and Sewer Committee meeting to April the 8th,
so moved.
and that's at the regular time. A second,
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Mhm.
Second on that? All in favor? Aye, opposed? One more thing, we need to make an appointment to fill the unexpired term of Karen Valenti as a secretary for the Board of Assessment Review. I don't think we did for the year, though.
No.
I think we had you, but you're getting appointed again, so we'll have two motions for that. A motion to appoint Ken Bain to fill the unexpired term of Karen Valenti as the secretary for the Board of Assessment Review with a term ending 12/31 of 27.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We thank Karen for her previous service to the town in that position. We welcome Ken back from retirement.
That was fast.
And
Yeah.
UDC, Kathleen Green.
Yes. Kathleen Green has expressed interest in being one of the alternates,
Right.
so we can still run two alternates. We'll leave yourself. Evan wants to
I
continue.
think Sue Sullivan wants to be second.
Okay,
No, she doesn't,
well, Kathleen said something about Sue wanting to do it.
but we can appoint, I mean, whatever,
We can have that 3-1.
if need be, I'll go, but you know, he's the alternate.
Yeah, we'll use Kathleen Green. We'll make an appointment for Kathleen Green to be the alternate with Kevin until such
Right.
time we verify that Stu still wants to.
Okay, the Kathleen is also on CIP.
Yes, yeah, same one. A motion to appoint Kathleen Green as an alternate for the town of Tusten to the Upper Delaware Council.
So moved.
Second? Oh, I made the motion.
Oh,
You're the
so I'm
second.
the second.
All in favor?
Well,
I opposed. Before we recess, public comment. Yes, Ken.
You set a cleanup day, and I was wondering if we can get advanced recycling, if Tusten Lions can.
Yeah.
do electronic recycling as they also.
Yeah, we'll add that to the, I don't think we need a motion to it. We got the cleanup day. We can add that to the flyer.
Yeah.
In contact with them as they do it available.
Okay,
Let me know. I'm gonna get those flyers out.
yes, ma'am.
Oh, Fabiana Lucido, I'm part of the Narrowsburg beautification group. Because I tend to be a literal person, in your motion, it didn't quite state that we have permission to use the parking lot. So I just want to make sure that that's assumed and that
Yeah,
we're
that-
all clear.
That is absolutely.
Okay, good.
I'll put the wording in there.
Thank you. I did have one other comment, and it was to you guys who run the youth group. And it's an amazing thing that you do, so I'm very grateful. And if you ever need any help, I'm not sure how I can help, but you can always, I'm always willing to volunteer for stuff. I do have a request that particularly during this time of severe divisiveness in this country, that maybe there are ways to open up the minds of the youth that there's more than one religion. Because you do Christmas stuff, you do Easter stuff, but I never hear about Hanukkah stuff or Passover stuff or any other religion. So I just wanted to put that out there, and maybe there's something that you could team up with schools. Maybe they have stuff that they can share to help with stuff.
Is everybody on Zoom that wants to? Okay, I'm going to go into board comments.
I just need, do I need authorization to send out the mailer, the EDM, the flyer?
The town dump today?
Correct, and then I send out the flyer.
No, it's $300,
Okay.
unless you would like a motion
I don't know
to
if
send
I
out
can.
the EDM. That's fine. I make a motion. Second.
I'll second.
Favor?
Thank you.
Folks. So what you've done here tonight, those that are welcome to, Kathleen and Peg and Jane kind of made some stuff. We would like to spend some time with Kenny in a short retirement. It's going to only last for a couple of minutes. We can have some light refreshments here. For those that don't know, Kenny's been here. He's worked for the town longer than Jane is old. But what, 7 supervisors? Or more? And been a great help to the people, especially the seniors or those coming in needing to navigate the world of the assessment office. And has
Also, zoning, is there, you know, to help.
a pair of barn boots that he's left for Peg to fill. But you are welcome. The rest of the board, I'm sure, has comment, but we would welcome you to stay afterwards to join us. Mike, you can always use dessert. You don't need the hamburger tonight.
I'll make it growling.
Any other comment from the board's comment? They're all quiet.
I'm not on the board.
I just knew I moved to the right town when I would see Kenny driving through town in a big Cadillac filled with poodle. Poodle. I just thought, that's our assessor.
You're always with me. And before you came on board here, I had 3 dogs that always came to the town hall every night with me when I was night. And at that time, George Burkle was supervisor. George and dogs didn't get along. They didn't
Right.
complain about them. They were so used to it. They would sit on a chair. If somebody knocked, they go bark, but otherwise they just go see who came in, see if they could get at it and come back.
I remember being mugged by poodles.
That was more recently, wasn't it?
I would make a motion to recess our meeting until the 14th at 11:15 a.m. here in the town hall.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Kathleen, you're gonna move that screen?